Hey everyone, how you doing? Hope you are doing well. It is currently a very windy, cloudy night here on the 28th of May, 2021. I wanted to make a quick follow-up video following up the Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War predictions bingo that I did. Like about a week ago, I'd say. Got a lot of support for that video, so thank you guys so much for checking that out. I'm going to be doing this video much the same as I did that one. Very little kind of visual assistance. I'm just kind of going to be talking through this stuff. So you can listen to it like a podcast if you like. Just kind of going to be talking about some predictions I have. Again, random layout of stuff that we got here. Some of these are predictions. Some of these are personal wishes that I would like to see. And some of these are just little joke things that I wanted to throw in. That being said, unlike the Fire Emblem bingo, I don't really think I'd be upset about any of these things happening. Like, if all of them happened, you can never go wrong with more reveals. It's not like you're deconfirming other things that are going to happen. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to E3 2021. Obviously, it could be super underwhelming, but if any of these things happen, it's going to make people happy, and I'm looking forward to it. It's doing this sort of prediction thing that kind of gets me more excited, get me thinking about the possibilities of what we could be seeing, that sort of thing. I made a change to the format of this. If you'll look, you'll see that only some of the squares of the bingo board have images to them. And if they have images, that means that it is a personal wish of mine. It's the sort of thing that would get me really excited. It wasn't that way for the Fire Emblem one, but I decided to change it up here. But let's dive right into it. Again, these are not all like super personal wishes. Like, there are some that I don't care that much about personally, but I'll be happy for people who get their favorite games and stuff revealed and get more info. Anyway, so first up we have the Tomodachi Life sequel, or Tomodachi Life, however you want to pronounce it. This is more of a wish, as you can tell, than a prediction. We are very... The Miitopia release was very recent on Switch. It was just a week ago. They're not going to have a good idea of sales numbers, but I get the feeling, just given the larger Switch install base, that they're going to be pretty good. And I don't know, I think it's going to give Nintendo a greater idea that people are still interested in Miis, especially given that new Mii Maker. If you've been watching my streams or any of the other videos that I've been uploading to this channel, you'll see that the Mii Maker for this game is insane. Like, they give you so much creative freedom with how you decide to use it and all the characters you can make. So if they go for like a sequel or a port of this game, I'd be very happy. I'm the sort of person who kind of likes these weird little simulation games where you can like... Sorry. Fuck. I'm choking on something. I swallowed the wrong way. Bad start. Anyway, I like these little simulation games where you can like make people you know, or fictional characters. As you can tell, I've been making like a bunch of Family Guy characters and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I'd really look forward to this. I'd hope they'd expand upon the personality stuff, give more unique interactions, and generally just keep the old Mii Maker that they had for Miitopia on Switch, because that thing is amazing. I've spent so many hours just making Miis. It's really a lot of fun. Alright, so next up we have FIFA 22 appears in the sizzle reel. This is more of a joke, just because I think for a lot of Nintendo fans, and I think they know this, FIFA isn't like a super big deal. We kind of have come to the expectation that we're going to get a new one every year. I don't even play FIFA that much. Usually when I play it, it's at a friend's house or we're just playing together, and I just kind of ignore the rules and I just go ahead and slide tackle all the time and get red cards, and it's kind of a big frustration for anybody who's teamed with me. But yeah, I just think it'd be funny if we saw FIFA appear. It's like one of the most predictable things you could see. So yeah, I just figured would fill in a slot with something like that. Alright, next up we have another Wii U port. This one, I'm not sure about the likelihood of it. I'm certainly not opposed to it as someone who has owned a Wii U and doesn't get any use out of it anymore. I think there's not too many more first-party games that they could port over. They've kind of knocked out a lot of the big ones. I think the only ones that are really left are Nintendo Land, which was a launch title with the game. It's one that I have very fond memories of, but it did rely pretty heavily on the gamepad. So how they manage to implement that will be interesting if they end up doing it. It would be just another fun Nintendo party game to play, and I really liked the Zelda minigame in that. And then beyond that, I think it was mostly just HD Zelda ports and up-reses. And we could get into that when we get to like Zelda 35th anniversary stuff, but seeing Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD ported over to the Switch would be a great idea, just so we can get a lot of the main series Zelda titles on the Switch, because we already have Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Link to the Past, no N64 Zelda yet, and we're missing a lot of the mobile ones too, like the handheld ones, except for, I guess, the remake of Link's Awakening. But then we'd also have Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, which is coming soon, which we'll also get to talk about, and then Breath of the Wild, obviously, and its sequel. So, yeah, we're kind of running out of games to port, but if it's cheap and easy for them to do, and they fix some problems that were in the previous game, and they make it so that the transition to Switch is smooth, I see no problem with giving more consumers access to these games, especially games that are really pretty great. I mean, Nintendo Land, I think, does live up to the legacy of like Wii Sports as a pack-in title. So, I mean, I'd be willing to see it ported over. Not sure if I'd buy it, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right, we got more wacky Joy-Cons. This one's another bit of a joke. Again, just wanted to throw in some funny ones. Keep things more lighthearted, because this is a thing that I think a lot of people take seriously. More wacky Joy-Cons. They introduced a new pair of them, I think, in the most recent Nintendo Direct alongside Skyward Sword. They had like a Hylian shield and Master Sword design on them. They're like purple and blue. Again, I'm not too big on buying a bunch of them. I have 4 Joy-Cons, which is pretty much all I need. Haven't experienced any drift, thank God. I was thinking about maybe including an entry on this bingo, like addressing Joy-Con drift, but E3 tends to be kind of a lighthearted, like they want to get people excited. They don't want to bring people down, in terms of like talking about like major issues the company has been having, that sort of thing. So I don't think if they were going to talk about Joy-Con drift that they would do it at E3. Even though a more substantial answer, better solutions for it, actual guarantees that this is not going to be happening to future hardware would be nice. But, you know, I don't expect them to talk about it at E3. They'll probably release like a press statement about it at some point if they're planning on changing their attitude about it. All right, Monster Hunter Rise DLC. This is, again, less of a wish and more of a prediction, just because I haven't played Monster Hunter Monster Hunter Rise. I have played Monster Hunter World. That's the one that I did buy on PC. Really fun game. Didn't get as much use out of it as I think I could have, but that was just because I think I was distracted by other stuff at the time. But yeah, great series of games. It seems to be selling really well. It's, I think, the best-selling Monster Hunter console exclusive that Capcom has ever done. So I think DLC for it is inevitable. I believe that they're still doing like major updates to the game to add more content or fix certain problems. Like I believe that they're like at update 4.0 at this point. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but they seem to be really supporting this game. They also have Monster Hunter Stories 2. I believe that's the title of it. So we'll probably get another trailer for that. But maybe like a teaser at some Monster Hunter Rise DLC, because that game seems to be doing really well for them. All right, Breath of the Wild 2. When I say this, I just mean just kind of any general information about it. I know I believe at the last Nintendo Direct, they had Eiji Aonuma appear, and he said, "I know you're expecting information about Breath of the Wild 2. We don't have anything to show you. Look forward to more information in the future." I'm not talking about something like that. I'm just talking about something more substantial, like a new trailer. It has been 2 years since it was revealed back in 2019 at E3. Game looks amazing from what I could tell. I'm not necessarily sure if I'm expecting a release window. If I was going to take a wild guess, I would say maybe like early 2022. If I was just to take a shot in the dark, I don't know if they'll have it ready for the holiday season, because it seems like Pokemon remakes are going to be what's carrying them this holiday season. I don't know. I think we probably will get a title reveal though, which is good, because calling it Breath of the Wild 2, we've never really had a Zelda game sequel that explicitly says it like that. There's always some sort of variation on the title, except for I guess the original Zelda 2, which even then was just called Adventure of Link, so not exactly the same. Seriously, one of my most anticipated games. I love Breath of the Wild to death. One of my favorite games ever. Definitely looking forward to getting more information on that. All right, N64 Legacy content. Oh god, I'm not quite sure about this one. For me, it's pretty much a coin flip at this point, because it's something that's been so heavily demanded. A lot of people really feel like Nintendo's legacy content has been locked away too much, and it's unfair to a lot of people who bought the Switch with the intention of being like, oh, I can go back and play virtual console games whenever I want, like on the go and that sort of thing. Obviously, they didn't advertise it like it was supposed to be that way, but it is kind of an expectation at this point, given the history with the Wii and the Wii U, with their extensive virtual console libraries, that we would be seeing some of these N64 games come to the system. And not in a way where it's Mario 64 packaged with Sunshine and Galaxy. I mean, I'm talking more like adding it to the Nintendo Switch Online service, or making it a separate plan where you can pay more and get access to more games, that sort of thing. They'd probably find a way to charge for it, all things considered. But I'm not sure. It really is kind of a coin flip for me. Smash Fighters Pass 3. I didn't include an image with this, just because I think it's so far-fetched, the idea of them doing this. This is absolutely a pipe dream. This isn't a genuine prediction at all, but I wanted to put it in just because I wanted to include realistic predictions, as well as just things that would blow my mind if they happen. Sakurai and his team have been very explicit about the fact that the Fighters Pass 2 is going to be the last Smash DLC that they release. Do I see them going back on that and announcing more? Yes, but it's not likely. I think it would be very wise for them financially to keep making them. But at the same time, I think they've given us so much, and I've been very happy with all of the fighters that we've gotten. Even if they weren't personally exciting for me, they all play unique in unique ways. So I can't be mad about that. I don't regret any of my purchases for the Fighters Passes. The one thing that I think motivates me to predict this in in a very far-fetched way is the fact that we may be getting a Switch Pro or some sort of equivalent. I'll talk about that in a bit, but if that extends the lifespan of the Switch, which presumably it will, and it's like the same console. It just had better hardware for better handheld mode play, for instance, 4K or whatever else like that, like more stable performance, that sort of thing. We extend the lifespan of the Switch. Usually, like, we've never had multiple Smash games on one system, barring obviously like virtual console stuff. So if we extend the lifespan of the Switch, we're essentially extending the lifespan of Smash Ultimate. So we very well could see a Fighters Pass 3 if all of that falls into place correctly. They would definitely make a lot of money, and they drum up a lot of public commotion when they announce any new fighter. So, I mean, you see that shit trending on Twitter for days after the fact. So, I don't know. Would be fantastic. I would love it, but not exactly, not exactly something I'm banking my hopes on. A new Kirby game. This is something that I heard was kind of being rumored. I don't have any explicit sources on that, but it's just something that I've heard about. The 3DS got multiple Kirby games, so it's definitely not out of the possibility that we get a second Kirby game for the Switch. Star Allies, I believe... I don't know the exact sales numbers, but I know critically it was kind of disappointing. Just in terms of difficulty, which is kind of unfortunate because Planet Robobot on the 3DS, which is the most recent one before Star Allies, was actually pretty difficult once you got into like the arena and the true arena and that sort of thing. But I could definitely see them going for a more classic Kirby experience, like more single player focused. Don't have the AI tethered to you at all times unless you're playing with people. Preferably kind of takes the approach of Return to Dreamland, where it's like less focused on multiplayer but still functions as a multiplayer game. I feel like they feel the need to make every Kirby game that comes out on a home console these days like multiplayer and have it like kind of revolve around that. But the Kirby games are they're always very well made, regardless of like difficulty issues. Like they always have great music, they always have great visuals for the console. They're always pretty creative in the way that they implement new mechanics. So, I mean, I love Kirby. I've been playing, not recently, but I played a bunch of Kirby games on my stream channel on Twitch and both on YouTube a little while back, and it was very fun to revisit a lot of those games. So I'm looking forward to it. If they do end up announcing that, I think it's time. I think it would be time for them to, if they're going to have another one. Zelda 35th anniversary stuff. This is pretty much a given. I don't know if they're going to do it at E3 necessarily. I mean, for all I know, the extent of their Zelda 35th anniversary celebration would just be Skyward Sword HD. That could be it, which I think would disappoint a lot of people. But I don't know. I'm not going to buy Skyward Sword HD personally. It's not a game that I'm super attached to, and if I was going to play it, I would probably just find a used copy of the Wii version. But we'll get into Skyward Sword stuff in a little bit. I could see them doing a variety of things. They could do like a Zelda 3D pack, like a 3D All-Stars, in the sense that they do Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, hopefully with the redone visuals, because I really like those on the 3DS with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D. They did a really great job. I believe they outsourced it to a different company. I don't know exactly who it was, so forgive me for that, but they did a fantastic job recreating all of the models and everything like that, and de-aging those N64 games. So they'd have those two, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, presumably with a lot of the changes they made to the HD ports for Wii U. They could obviously port up Wind Waker and Twilight Princess for like $50, and I think a lot of people would be fine with that because they love those games. I don't know if I see them packaging them all together, like all 4 of them together like that. We could also see like a multiplayer Zelda re-release, like we could see 4 Swords or 4 Swords Adventures come. We could see some of the Oracle games maybe. We could see Minish Cap. I don't know. It's really up in the air what they do, but I think they're going to do something at least. I don't think the extent of it is just going to be Skyward Sword HD. Pikmin 4 update. When I say update, obviously, I mean like update on how development is going. Like whether it's in the form of a trailer or just like a statement that it's still happening. It's been so long since that game was announced, and it just seems to be going through development hell. Not as well documented as Metroid Prime's development hell, but it still seems like it's just stuck in limbo right now, which is really unfortunate. As someone who played the original Pikmin and loved it back when I was younger, and I still think it's just like such a creative detour from what Nintendo was doing at the time. The GameCube just had so many interesting experiments, like with Luigi's Mansion and that game. But yeah, just any more info on Pikmin 4 would be great. Just information, just so we know that it's still in production. We've seen so little about it. But the fact that they're working on a mobile game with the same developers for Pokemon Go might help drum up some interest, maybe. I'm sure it would, especially if it's free to play. We'd see Pikmin at maybe the height of its relevancy. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing if any of that comes to fruition. All right, more limited releases. Frowny face. The frowny face does not count as like a symbol that I include to insinuate that I want more of this, because what a horrible business practice. They locked away both Super Mario 3D All-Stars as well as the port and translation of Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light. Is it? The full name is weird, but it's the first Fire Emblem game from the NES. They locked them away. You can no longer purchase them anymore after, March 31st, 2021. Which is just like, it's just creating artificial demand, and Nintendo's no longer going to see any of that money anymore. For people who want to buy those games. It's just such a bad practice. And for me personally, as someone who owns all 3 of those games, I don't own the original Fire Emblem, but it's not a game that I'm necessarily super eager to play, especially because it's been remade twice. As someone who owns Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, and loves all 3 of them, I was never going to buy that game. I just have easy access to the the original versions of them. But come on, it's like, it's fine if you made the physical versions a limited release. That makes sense. You want it to be like a special thing for the anniversary. I understand, but locking away the digital version, it's like the work has already been put in to up-res the games. Why are you stopping people from giving you money for them? It's like you don't have to produce any more cartridges or boxes for it. Why are you locking this away? Like, all they're gonna do is just like accumulate value on the scalper market, and like people are just gonna hold on to their copies for like years from now. And it's the sort of thing that shouldn't be a collector's item. The physical version, yes, sure, whatever. But like the digital version, it's like people. It's gonna be like, I imagine. I'm not sure if I predict this happening, but I could imagine a situation where it becomes like iPhones that have Flappy Bird on them going on eBay and selling for thousands of dollars. It's like, it's a piece of software that has like no physical object attributed to it beyond the device you use to play it. I just don't understand. I hope they don't do this, especially not for Zelda's 35th anniversary. Jesus Christ, please. It's just you're you're really tainting the good memories that people should be having with these games and associating with your major anniversaries here. You're tainting it with like just these weird, bad business practices that harm the consumer and are gonna harm you in the long run. You're not making any more money off of this shit. I'm no business expert, but it just rubs me the wrong way, and I hope they don't do this anymore. Kind of in line with that, people get upset, which is my basic free space. This is just a gag. I'm not going to talk much about it because complaining about people complaining about Nintendo stuff is just its own played out shit, and I'm not gonna play into that. I just think it's funny that we put so much stock into it. It's something to get excited about for sure, but at the end of the day, we can't let it define whether or not we like are happy with like whether or not it like makes or breaks our week, you know? I mean, I understand people are in rough situations, and the past year has been pretty fucking terrible, and we've needed stuff to look forward to, but we can't rely on companies to make us happy in that regard. Either they're putting out products that we want to buy, or they're not, and I don't know. I just hope I don't know why. You know what? I don't hope anything. Like, people are just gonna get pissed off anyway, so just forget about it. I'm gonna do my best to temper my expectations as much as possible, which is why this isn't like a wish list or anything like that. All right, an update on Project Triangle Strategy. This is a game being developed by, I believe, Square Enix. It's in the same, like, I believe it's HD 2D style as Octopath Traveler, which is a game that I have played. Not extensively, I own it, but I have played it a little bit. I believe I've put about like 20 hours into it. I want to put more in when I get the opportunity, but I've got other stuff I'm playing. Follows like a kind of a same graphical style. Seems to have a different kind of Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics approach to gameplay. Looks interesting. Not necessarily sure if I'd buy it, just because I think Fire Emblem kind of fits the bill for me in that sort of tactical strategy RPG, you know, niche. But I don't know. I mean, it definitely looks really nice. It's Square Enix, so they're gonna have good music in there too. I believe they already put out a demo for it. And that's the one thing I can really commend them on, is that they put out demos and then ask for customer feedback, just so that they can like notice things that are severely wrong with the game and then fix them before launch. I believe they do that multiple times. I think that's what they did for Octopath Traveler, and it's a great way to do it. Putting out betas and demos and that sort of thing. It's a great way to make sure that there's nothing glaringly wrong with your game from a conceptual standpoint. Obviously, glitches and shit will still find themselves worked into the game after the fact at launch, but I don't know. But yeah, I'm expecting to see that. I'm passively looking forward to it. But yeah. All right, a Smash character reveal. It's been long enough at this point since Pyra and Mithra. Definitely expecting it. If I had to give an honest prediction as to who I think it is, I can't be completely unbiased when I say this because it's one of my most wanted characters. But I think if they're going to put him in now, if they're going to put him in at any point, it has to be at E3, and that's going to be Master Chief. E3 is just a huge event, bringing together so many different gaming companies, including Microsoft. They are releasing Halo Infinite towards the back end of this year, presumably, unless they've delayed it again. Which I believe they've gone on record and said that Halo Infinite is going to be more of a continuous service. It's going to be the sort of thing that they support for a long time, and if they have future consoles, they're just going to port it up to that. I believe their estimate was like 10 years they're going to try and keep this game alive, which is going to be definitely interesting to see. I mean, the name certainly implies it. But yeah, one of my most anticipated games. And if they want to get eyes on them, if Nintendo wants to get eyes on their character reveal, they're going to do it at E3, and they're going to have it be a big one. It's why they did Banjo at E3 back in 2019, which got a lot of people excited. The plausibility of it being another Microsoft character is weird. But then again, it's like, we can never predict what they're going to do. And saying, like, this character deconfirms this other character, yeah, you can't be sure about that sort of thing. Plus, Minecraft is so big, and it's like, it's not necessarily associated specifically with Microsoft, despite the fact that they own it now. Just because it's on every console that's existed in the past 15 years. So, I don't know. Definitely expecting Master Chief, or just maybe another Nintendo exclusive, but Master Chief's got my vote, that's for sure. Alright, Super Mario Party 2. This feels like an inevitability, especially given the proposition of a Switch Pro extending the lifespan of the Switch. Super Mario Party was fun. I've owned it. I've played it with friends numerous times, but I'm getting to the point where I feel like we need more maps. Like, we need more boards to play on. It already felt kind of limited that we only had 4 of them in Super Mario Party. Like, that's like on par with some of the GameCube ones. I feel like we're at a point where we can have more of them. And also another thing that leads me to believe that we're going to see this announced is recently they added an update, like 2 years after the fact. More than that, maybe 3 years. They added an update to Super Mario Party that enables online play. Not sure exactly how well that has worked out, especially given Nintendo's weird thing about online servers, not using dedicated servers, requiring peer-to-peer connection, that sort of thing. But it feels just late enough where it's like, why the hell did you put that in now on this 3-year-old game? Especially towards the back end of the pandemic, it's like, doesn't seem all too smart. But I mean, if they're doing that in preparation for a sequel where they want to have it implemented from the beginning, that makes sense. And like, they're just like, okay, we'll just try it out on the original, put it out to the public for the people who want it and can use it. And then we put it into the sequel from launch. I definitely see this happening. Whether they use the Super Mario Party name again, I'm not sure. I feel like they probably will. I'm not sure if we're ever going to see like a Mario Party 13. Did they go up to 12 on the Wii U? I'm not sure. But like, yeah, I definitely expect to see this at some point, if not at E3, in another Direct towards the end, later half of this year. But yeah, it's an inevitability. No way they're not gonna have another Mario Party game. I'm just hoping for more mini games, more maps, more playable characters. Okay, here's the big one, and this is the one that I think is gonna make or break a lot of people's E3. A Switch Pro or some sort of equivalent. When I say an equivalent, I mean like, there have been rumors about, instead of an actual upgrade to the physical hardware of the Switch, like the actual handheld that you would carry with you and plug into the dock, instead they would do an upgraded dock, which could export like 4K video or something like that. If this ends up happening, I'll be excited just because I think there are a lot of games that could benefit from it. it's something that I've noticed as I retroactively go back and play games like Breath of the Wild, where I can see like frame dips and that sort of thing. Do I think it's necessary for the Switch to keep thriving? Not necessarily. The Switch has such an interesting and unique concept, and it has such a robust library of games at this point. Games that have sold millions upon millions of copies. It's a great value proposition for both people who are like traveling a lot, as well as just Nintendo fans and kind of general core gamers. I could see them not doing it, but at the same time, they have such a good thing going here. I feel like it would be kind of unfortunate to continue to rely on this antiquated technology and not upgrade it so that it can, you know, support 1080p, 60 FPS, and that sort of thing. Especially because it's going to be limiting towards third-party developers. If they feel like they have to make so many sacrifices in terms of porting it to the Switch, like porting their projects and games to the Switch, that it like compromises the integrity of the game, people are just going to stop developing for it at a certain point where it like becomes like not feasible to have the game run, unless they develop further the idea of like cloud games that exist on the cloud and you can stream to your Switch. I believe they're doing that for the game Control, which is an award-winning game that never came to Switch, but it's on its way. How that technology works out, not sure. Kind of have to wait and see, but I mean, I'd anticipate a Switch Pro or equivalent, especially because the rumor mill about that has been pretty dense. It seems like people are really banking on that happening. If I had a preference, I would say that I don't fucking care about them putting out a 4K console at this point. Because at a certain point, my eyes just can't tell the difference. I don't know if that's the same for me as it is for everybody else, but at a point, like I'm playing on TVs most of the time, not on monitors, and I'm sitting far away. The thing that concerns me most of the time, more often, is just stable performance. I want to see games reach 60 FPS consistently. Because that's like the smooth performance actually affects how the game plays, and that's important for me personally. Resolution has never been a super big point for me. It's mostly just about making sure the game runs right. Obviously, I don't want a game that looks like shit and a console that can't put out games that don't look like shit. But if they can just get like Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2 running at like 60 FPS, ooh, that's another thing. I'm expecting Breath of the Wild 2 to be a launch title for a Switch Pro if they both end up happening. Just to kind of fit in line with that. Just to fit in line with how it was, 4 years ago at this point? Fire Emblem Remake. I've talked at length about this, both in my bingo video from before, as well as during my playthrough of Genealogy of the Holy War. Definitely looking forward to this happening. Feels like it's just about time for it to happen. It's been like 2 years since Three Houses, and they had Koei Tecmo helping them work on that. So it's been a while since we've seen just an in-house intelligent systems developed game. Fire Emblem Echoes was fantastic. So any remake they do is going to be well done, I think. They've shown that they're very dedicated to preserving the feel of the previous games while still bringing them up to current, support standards and that sort of thing. And visually, they look fantastic. But again, we can get into all that. Genealogy, The Holy War, Fire Emblem 4 seems like the most likely remake. I've heard remake talk happening for Fire Emblem 6, which is the Binding Blade, which is the one that features Roy, if you're not familiar with him. And and then a port or a remastering of the 2 Tellius games, which were I believe the 9th and 10th games, which were Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, because they feature Ike, and they were also originally like some of the first 3D games in the series. So like those ones wouldn't take much to bring them up to current standards, especially given Three Houses, visuals not looking that great. And they're beloved games anyway. All of them are beloved games, but Fire Emblem 4 just seems like the most likely, especially if they're going in chronological order. But yeah, I expect to see this. Definitely looking forward to it. But regardless of which game gets remade, I'll probably end up buying it. And probably doing a playthrough of it on stream, so look forward to that too. Okay, Pikmin mobile game info. This is something that is happening. It has been announced previously. However, I don't know if I see them talking about it at E3. Because those are time slots that are very coveted. And talking about a game that isn't even for Nintendo Switch seems kind of uncharacteristic. Because they never talked about like Pokemon Go in Nintendo Direct. It was mostly just Pokemon specific stuff. But they are doing a Pikmin mobile game in the same kind of style as Pokemon Go, being developed by the same people over at Niantic. I'm looking forward to it. I would definitely try it out. Pokemon Go has taken many hours of my life, and I don't regret it just because it got me outside, it got me exercising, I guess. Got me running around with friends trying to like catch Pokemon or like take gyms and shit back when that was first released. It was mayhem. It was first released back when I was still in school. I'm in school now, but higher level of school. But my point is that everybody was in on Pokemon Go, and I don't expect the same sort of thing to happen with a Pikmin mobile game, but it definitely could be like a smaller instance of the same phenomenon. Just put out a free-to-play game that features these iconic characters, and I think people will come to fall in love with Pikmin. It's a series that deserves a lot more than it's gotten. Has such a creative, unique concept, and really has not been replicated since I guess Pikmin 3, which is out on Switch too. So, I think this could really do a lot for Pikmin, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, an update on Splatoon 3. Again, this is less of a wish and more of a prediction. They seem to have it pretty, like, they seem to have the engine and stuff pretty much nailed down in the original reveal I saw at the most previous Nintendo Direct. They're probably just going to use the same engine with a few tweaks. I don't imagine them like completely recreating it from the ground up, especially since we're on the same console that can handle the same thing. I don't think I would personally buy into Splatoon 3. Maybe. It really depends on how I'm feeling at the time. I skipped Splatoon 2. Didn't play much of Splatoon 1. I beat the story and played it online some, but didn't really fall in love with it like I know a lot of other people did. But I hope Splatoon fans get what they want. They haven't revealed too much about how the game is going to play or anything like that, so I don't know, maybe if there's dramatic changes, I'd give it a try. If there's a demo, I'll check it out for sure. Alright, anything about Metroid Prime 4? God, dude. As I've played through more of Metroid Prime, I've gotten more and more excited for this game. I don't know if I'm going to play through... I don't know if I'm going to play through the rest of Metroid Prime, or even the sequels on stream. That might just be a thing that I have to do in my own time. But it's something that I'm absolutely looking forward to doing. And the aesthetic of the game, the atmosphere, I know that's a term that's thrown around so fucking much. that it probably seems overplayed to people who haven't played the games, but honest to God, that game just exudes such like an interesting atmosphere to it. I really played nothing like it. I guess the closest thing that I could attribute it to is like Half-Life, like the original Half-Life, but even then it's like it's an entirely different situation. I'm really hoping for something about Metroid Prime 4, even just a trailer to give us like a taste of what we're going to expect in terms of plot, or in terms of changes to the overall system, whether we'll be seeing pointer controls, that sort of thing. Those are probably details we'll find out later, but just an indication that it's slowly working its way out of development hell. I get the feeling that if they were going to announce a Switch Pro, and if they end up doing that, I could see them taking extra time for Metroid Prime 4 and making it so that it can take better advantage of the added hardware that we get in a Switch Pro or an upgraded dock or whatever else. Because that's the sort of game that I think could really benefit from it. But again, I don't even know if I'm going to expect anything like that. My hopes are very low, but it's a wish for sure. I'm not getting my hopes up, of course, but God. Those games are... They're called some of the best games ever made for a reason, and I really want to see what they do with it. I guess I could have put like F-Zero Revival or something like that on here, but that's the sort of thing where it's like I have limited experience with the series, and at the same time, that's like 1 in a million chance, it feels like at this point, unfortunately. So yeah, I didn't include that. Would love to see it though. A double Smash reveal. Not getting my hopes up for this one either, but they did establish somewhat of a precedence for this at E3 2019, where they announced both Hero from Dragon Quest and Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know what motivated them to do that specifically. I think maybe they just wanted to appeal to both Japanese and Western audiences, because Japan is super big on Dragon Quest, and then Banjo-Kazooie is mostly a thing that the West kind of fell in love with. I'm not saying there's not crossover, but it is like a pretty divisive thing. Like a lot of people were very big on Banjo-Kazooie, and they were like, who the hell is Hero? Like, what? Who are these anime characters? And then they ended up being some of the most fun characters in the game, so... but regardless, double Smash reveal, not much of a precedent for it beyond that one instance. And I feel like it would be kind of weird to... Because this is the very end of the... Unless they announce a Fighters Pass 3, this is going to be the very end of the second Fighters Pass, and these are going to be the last 2 DLC characters. So, kind of... crushing the rumors and speculation about who the last characters could be, like, immediately. Not having it kind of carry out through the rest of the year until, like, a October or November direct. Not sure if they'd do that, but, you know what? If they were trying to make E3 2021 something special, give us both of them. And then you'll have people waiting, like, 5 months to play as the second character. If I had to give an honest prediction, honest prediction would be obviously Master Chief and then Dante. It's the sort of thing where it's like, have we seen another Capcom character? Shit, wait, let me go through this Fighters Pass again. We had Min Min, Steve, Sephiroth, Pyra, Mythra. So we haven't seen another Capcom character yet. In this pass. I could see it. I could see it happening. I I would definitely want DMC5 Dante if we were to get any style of Dante. I like his look a lot better in DMC5, but I can imagine them not going with that one. I think worst case scenario is they give us like DMC Devil May Cry Dante, like the reboot that they did, where he doesn't have the white hair, he has like the shorter black hair. People would be fucking pissed off about that. I could see them giving him an alt for that though. I could also maybe see them doing a Nero Echo Fighter costume. I don't know if they would count that as a separate character, or they would just like package them together and say, you know, here's the here's like just a bonus as like the last fighter. But if they were gonna have the last fighter be anybody, I think it'd be Master Chief, just for the, you know, the finish the fight slogan that he has going. But yeah, Dante, I see it happening. Very fan requested character. Unless they're gonna do like Gino or Waluigi, like somebody who's been requested for years and years and years, even before Smash Ultimate's announcement. Yeah, but Dante is both a wish and a prediction. I'm not getting my hopes up though. Double Smash reveal, definitely unlikely. Doug Bowser appears. This is another joke. We're probably gonna end up seeing him. I was originally gonna put we see Bill Trinan here, but he's kind of taken a backseat. The last major time I remember seeing him was, he obviously does a lot of Nintendo Treehouse stuff, because that's kind of where his niche is in the company. The last major role he had was, I think, maybe at when like the Switch was originally revealed. You'll have to forgive me for not being super confident about my Trinan lore. But yeah, if we see like a Tomodachi Life sequel announcement, we could see him again. He was in the presentation on that game. Like, he had a very central role. So I could see that happening. But yeah, Doug Bowser appearing. Back at E3 2019, like, Reggie had a pretty... was Reggie still... I think Reggie was still around at that time, but I remember him historically having a very strong presence in a lot of those presentations. So yeah, we can definitely expect to see Doug Bowser. Whether or not he makes a joke about his name again or not, I don't know. We could see it happen. He'll probably be the one to introduce, unless it's like Koizumi or Miyamoto. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Skyward Sword HD info. Again, these are very coveted time slots. I'm not sure if they're gonna... They'll probably add like another reminder that it exists. Probably during the sizzle reel, like with a bunch of other games and ports. Coming from third-party companies. The one thing I think a lot of people want to know about Skyward Sword HD is adjustments to the controls. People are that's gonna like make or break the thing for a lot of people. They said they're adding in an option to use the control stick for the sword movement instead of, you know, motion controls, which is a lot of the reason why a lot of people didn't like Skyward Sword originally on the Wii. Those motion controls killed it for a lot of people, just due to being unresponsive and the need for the Wii Motion Plus. There's a lot of fear from I think a good number of people that you're only going to be able to use that control scheme where the sword is controlled by the control stick. There's a lot of fear about that being tied only to handheld mode, because there was a situation back when Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was released where you had to use motion controls if you were playing in docked mode, and if you were playing in handheld mode, you could use just a button to throw the Pokeball. But if you were playing docked, it's just not an option. You just had to use the motion controls, flick your wrist, swing the controller around, that sort of thing. And I get the impression people are afraid that they're gonna do that again for Skyward Sword, because they haven't explicitly said that that control scheme with the analog stick being tied to the sword isn't available in any playstyle. I'm hoping that's the case. I don't want to see them just like squander the opportunity to redeem Skyward Sword for a lot of people. I know it's got a lot of other problems, especially in terms of pacing, in terms of linearity, that sort of thing, and the boss fights sometimes. But let's get this one thing right, please. We have to give people options when it comes to controls. Because people want to use their pro controllers for this shit. Please, Nintendo, don't screw this up. But again, seeing this at E3, I don't know about that. We could probably just see it in its own special presentation, or that sort of thing. Especially if they're doing like Zelda 35th anniversary in-depth presentation after E3, or maybe like right after it, they have like its own unique section for it, but I don't know. Just please don't fuck that up. And then they also announced that amiibo for it, which I think people are kind of up in arms about. I don't know. I'm not going to buy the game, but if they're tying like key features of the game, like fast travel locations and that sort of thing to an amiibo, that seems kind of unfair. It seems like that's the sort of thing that should be built into the base game, especially if people are like backtracking a lot in that game. Again, my experience with it is very limited, so you'll have to find other people who are more well-versed in Skyward Sword than I am for more concrete opinions. But I want them to give people those control options, please. It's such a basic thing. You don't need to be limiting us based on how we're using our Switch console. Come on. And then Bayonetta 3 info. It's been a while since we've seen anything about it. I actually genuinely don't know when it was announced. Here, I have my computer pulled up here, so I'm gonna do a quick Google search, just so I can save you the time if you're interested. I'm gonna do a quick Google search and see when Bayonetta 3 was announced. Bayonetta 3 announcement date was on December 7th, 2017. Alongside the Nintendo Switch ports of the first two Bayonetta games. This is something that I personally have very little stock in. I've played a couple Platinum games. When I say... It's weird to say that because the name of the studio is Platinum Games, but do I say Platinum Games? But I've played some of their games. I've played like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and it's fun, but I'm not too big in like the whole hack and slash, beat 'em up sort of game, personally. I mean, power to you if you like it, but it's not really for me. Let's see, it's currently in development with no target release date. It was announced, it's like a 3.5 years ago announcement. There has been information that has been gathered from the developers that yes, it's still in development. I mean, if they're trying their best to do a good job, I mean, better to put out a great game later than to put out a rush game now. But I do feel like it has been long enough, and people are kind of clamoring for anything about it. So I could see us seeing something. It's again another coin flip, but it's not something I have too much stock in. But you know what? I want to see people's dreams come true. That's always what I want to see. I want to see games get. I want to see franchises get new games, and I want to see new stuff get announced and stuff that makes people happy. I would never wish for the downfall of a series. It's like you got so many different people working on it, and these games have affected so many different people. Like Bayonetta as a series, like, I have no attachment to it, but it's somebody's favorite series. I want to see those people made happy at the end of the day. So I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping for pretty much everything on this list except for the limited releases. Fuck, I didn't say that at the beginning of the video. So I said, like, I'd be fine with all these things happening. It's like, they're gonna be like, you're fine with more limited releases? What's wrong with you? But yeah. Again, I feel like I need to say that there's a chance that none of this stuff happens. Except for, like, the people getting upset. Because if none of it happens, that one's just a given. But, you know what? If any of this stuff gets announced over the course of this year, I'm fine with that. Like, it's gonna happen during our lifetimes at some point. I think all of the things on this list are probably gonna happen at some point in within the next year or two during the Switch's lifespan. The only few that I could see just never happening are, like, another Wii U port if they just think, like, Nintendo Land wouldn't work, and if they just, like, port up if they just, like, bring Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD as part of, like, a collection. There's no way we're not going to get more wacky Joy-Cons. Fighters Pass 3 is the sort of thing where I'm like, yeah, that might never happen. Like everything else, it's like, it's mostly about games that have already been announced or have been, like, rumored to have been happening at some point. But I'd be fine with no more limited releases. God. Please, just don't do that again. People are pissed off enough already. But yeah, that's my Nintendo E3 2021 bingo. If you're wondering about my opinions about a Microsoft presentation or a Bethesda presentation or a Sony presentation, I'll just run through those real quick because I figured why not touch on it while I'm talking. Well, I've already been talking for like over an hour. I've never owned a Sony console, so it means very little to me. I hope Sony fans get what they want. I hope they can get their hands on their PS5s without having to go through $1,000 scalpers, that sort of thing. Xbox, really the only thing that I'd be looking forward to is just more info on Halo Infinite. Maybe more seasonal updates for Master Chief Collection. But beyond that, most of their games come to PC. So it's within my grasp to play a lot of them. I remember I was gonna play like Bug Snacks or something on stream, but I never got around to it, which is unfortunate. I wish I did, but I know how the game ends now anyway, so. Bethesda. Fuck, what do I even want from Bethesda? Listen, I've played Skyrim. I've played Fallout 3. I've played Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas. I think they have the potential to make pretty great games, but they just have made so many bad decisions. I haven't tried out Elder Scrolls Blades. Maybe I should do that for like a one-off stream, because I feel like it wouldn't hold my attention. Definitely, we're probably going to see info on Elder Scrolls 7, or Elder Scrolls 6. I'm getting ahead of myself. Probably a new expansion for Elder Scrolls Online. I don't play that game. But Bethesda, I know you can do better than this. I know you can do better than, like, mobile games and then Fallout 76. I know you're better than this. Just please show us. Make a new engine, please. Please do not. God, that'd be so fucking funny though if they ended up doing like if they ended up just like bringing this next gen brand new role-playing experience made by Bethesda to new consoles, but then it's just like same graphics, same glitchy ass engine as they used for Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 76. I don't even know if that's the same engine. Probably is. Beyond that, it's kind of a lot of just smaller studios that don't actually own consoles. I know Bethesda doesn't own a console, but whatever they do at E3 has always been kind of noteworthy enough to be like, haha, or like, okay, I hope they don't do this one wrong. If you're a Bethesda fan, I'm sorry, I'm coming off very negative. I love some of their games, but I've seen people get burned too many times to get my hopes up for anything. I saw that Sonic Colors is getting a remaster for the Switch, and it's getting remastered for every console because it was originally just on the Wii, so that's cool. Hope Sonic fans are interested. I've played through a good portion of that game with a friend. It didn't really click with me. Those games don't really mesh well with me. It's like, it's too fast. It's like, it's speed, but I don't get any satisfaction out of going that fast. Who else? Anybody else noteworthy? Unless they end up doing like specific directs for, I don't know, Nintendo's indie showcases, or like a Zelda direct specifically for the 35th anniversary. I don't know. I'll pretty much just be tuning into Nintendo's E3, and I'll just be kind of following the headlines for everything else to see if anything unique happens. Maybe we'll get another Last of Us remaster. That being said, I will say this. Do not expect a live reaction on Twitch when Nintendo's E3 is happening, because I'm going to be out of town at that time. I will be doing a live reaction to it, but it will be pre-recorded and uploaded after the fact. Just because I won't have my computer set up. My mic quality will probably be shit, so expect that. But I hope none of you were eagerly anticipating watching me co-stream it, because I'm not going to be able to do that. But I will hopefully be able to watch everything and record my live reactions without spoilers. It'll just be in like a different environment. I'll probably record the audio on my phone. So maybe I'll just upload a few key bits. Like I'll cut it down maybe. Just so you don't have to suffer through the audio quality and stuff. I'll edit it after the fact. I'll edit it after the fact to make sure it doesn't sound absolutely horrible. But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this E3. I know a lot of our hopes are banking on it because they didn't have one last year. And this past year has been kind of light on big Nintendo stuff. So I know a lot of people's hopes are riding on it. I'm just hoping people don't like center their lives around it. I'm really looking forward to it, but at the same time, I won't let my week depend on it. But you know what? Even if that is you, I hope you get everything you want, and I hope if life isn't going too well for you and you like need this to have something to look forward to, I hope shit turns around for you soon, and I hope you just take every day for what it is. And I'm giving you empty platitudes here, but I don't know. I want people to be happy, and I want them to be happy as a result of Nintendo shit and beyond that. So, yeah, I hope if you're looking forward to E3, if you're interested, maybe drop some predictions down in the comments. If you're looking forward to like Sony or Xbox's presentations, you can talk about those too. And even if you're just interested in any of the games that might be announced, hit me with your wildest speculation. I don't know. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what happens. At the very least, we'll get a Smash reveal, and that'll give me something else to look forward to. So, yeah. I hope you take care. I'm recording this at 3:21 in the morning. So I hope whatever time it is for you, or wherever you're watching this, I hope you have a good rest of your day, rest of your night, and take care. Thanks for listening all the way through. This has been like an hour and 10 minutes. So I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want. Maybe you were just here to listen to some random person's opinions about it, about Nintendo's E3, and that's fine too. But yeah, hope to see you again, and take care of yourself. Crazy times, but we're kind of getting back to normal. So take advantage of that as best you can. Stay safe though. All right, take care.